welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Oline and I'm a knitter from Norway, and today's my birthday, and I think this year is what's going to make a tradition. I think tradition is 3 years in a row, correct me if I'm wrong, but every year on my birthday I either finish a project for myself or cast on a project for myself, and this year I'm going to be casting on something for myself, and it's a project that's been on my to-do list for years. I just haven't found the time or the perfect yarn to do it, but this year I have both, and what I'm going to be casting on is the Square Neck Camisole, that's the name, by Garnogslikt. I'm really excited to be knitting this. I am a sucker for anything square necked, and I really want to get more camisoles in my knitted wardrobe. I have a few, but I don't use them the most, and I think the fit of the square neck camisole is going to be something I reach for a lot more than the ones I already have, so I'm super excited for it. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to cast on something today, but it's definitely being cast on today because it is my birthday. This is going to be my birthday knit, and I didn't mention the yarn, but this is the yarn I'm going to be knitting it in. This is knitting for Olive Merino, and the color is called Dusty Petroleums Blue. I think this will be really nice. I am a sucker for blue, so this is just a compilation of everything I love. A squared neck blue camisole. I think it's going to be great, and this is my little birthday gift for myself. I won't be able to wear it for quite some time, but casting it on and giving myself the time to work on this is my birthday gift, and I'm super excited, and I hope you'll want to come along with me on the journey to making this. Hi, I'm just popping in with a little update on my birthday cast on. As you can see, I've done a lot in just a few days. This has been so fun to work on, and ribbing is one of my favorite things to do. I think it grows so quickly, it's so fun to do, it's so motivating to see. Especially one of my absolute favorite things is to do increases in ribbing. I think it looks so nice. The lighting here makes it a bit hard to see, but you can see those increases here. Had so much fun doing that. So kind of the yoke of this is done now. It doesn't look like much before I get on the finishing touches, but I actually just ran out of yarn. I did start working a bit in the round, but ran out of yarn, so I think I'm going to do like the finishing touches first. So the edge around here and also the edges for the arms. That's definitely something I'm going to do now, just so it will be easier if I want to try it on and it will start to look more like something. Right now it is really flimsy, especially these straps. And then I also have to decide before I join yarn here again, because I think after 15 rows of working on the body you have to decide if you want to do decreases for the body or not. I'm leaning towards that I want to do it. I think that might give me a better fit, but I'm also afraid it will end up being like too small. So I have to think a little bit more about that, but I'm going to do that as I do the finishing touches here. Right now, this is working up so quickly that in my head I'm like, oh, this will be finished this week. But it's also not my first time thinking that way. I always get like tricked into the yoke moving along really quickly, and then I always think, oh, this is going to be done in no time. And then the finishing touches and the body ends up taking twice, 3 times as long as I think it will. But so far, this is working up really quickly, and I have already finished one of the 2 skeins that this is going to take. So if I keep knitting as much on this and as quickly on this, I'm going to have this summer top in no time, which I am really excited about. Right now, looking out the window, there's not much that resembles summer, but I'm going to knit this and just hope that summer will be here by the time this is finished. And also for the few days that we maybe will get summer, I really want this to be finished. So I'm going to keep knitting on this, and yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun. So that is my little update on this so far, and I'll see you guys again soon. I'll probably update again once I'm done with these finishing touches, because I think by then I might try it on. I also might do a couple of more rows on the body before I try it on, but I'm definitely going to try it on soon-ish just to see how it fits, because right now, since this is ribbed, it doesn't really look like it's going to fit. So I'm really eager to try it on and to see how it will actually fit me, how the ribbing will stretch out, how the sizing will work out. I think I might do that before I do more on the body, because that might help me make a decision as to if I'm going to do decreases in the body or not. But yeah, that's where we are so far. with another update on the Square Neck Camisole. I had a little bit of a break from working on this, but I picked it up again early this week, and once I picked it back up again, it has progressed so quickly. That's often the case. I put things down, kind of forget about them, but once I pick them back up again, it goes by really quickly. The reason I put it down is that my next step then was to do all of this double knitting, and double knitting really isn't my favorite. I usually mess it up, it takes forever, and I just am never happy with the results. Kind of feel that way now as well. I think my double knitting ended up a bit loose. You can kind of see it here at the top, it kind of folds over itself, and I just don't think it's the neatest, but I think it will do. I did try it on today, it looked fine when I tried it on, so hopefully washing this won't ruin that. I really hope that this is good, because I really don't want to do the double knitting again, but that's why I put it down and kind of procrastinated picking it back up. But I traveled with this as my only knitting project, and that did wonders, helped me a lot, so I actually got to the double knitting. And then today I've picked up for the body again. I did try it on just to see if I was going to do decreases on the body. I have decided to do those. Let me try to show you. I don't know if you can see it, but I've done decreases here. I think you can see those have been working out. It's been motivating because I do those every 5 rows, so I always have something to kind of look forward to. And I am a bit over halfway through the decreases, but I am way more than halfway through my yarn. It's supposed to measure I think maybe 30 or something centimeters from this point. Mine is definitely not going to do that. I have known that this probably will turn into a little bit of yarn chicken. I hoped it wouldn't turn this much into a game of yarn chicken. I usually like mine, it's a little bit cropped, but this might be a tiny bit more cropped than I usually go for. Right now I would say it's 12 centimeters maybe, 13, and I do have a little bit of yarn left, but it's not much, as you can see, so don't know. I really hope I'll be able to get through all of the decreases, so it at least will look right when it comes to the ribbing. I think from when I tried it on, I think I was at about this point when I tried it on, so I have done a fair bit since then, but it was super short when I tried it on, so it will probably still be quite short, but luckily most of everything I own when it comes to pants are like at least mid-rise, so I think it should be fine and that I'll still be able to get wear out of it. And so far from the first try on, I love the way this fit. I know that it has like broader straps and the way those sit. I'm super excited to be able to wear this. It's hard to measure the length of it on my body since it is ribbed, but I think it's still pretty cropped from what I can see. So I am currently just stress knitting. That's why I've been able to make so much progress tonight. I'm just stress knitting to see if I have enough yarn, and I'm weighing this yarn all of the time to see how much yarn it takes me. I had used about half of the yarn since the last time I measured. I measured when I started the decreases, and I measured when I'd done half of them, and then I've used about half of the yarn. So I really hope it will be enough to do the decreases, but it probably won't be enough to do much more than that. So I'll get like double the length of this approximately. But yeah, I hope that will work out. Fingers crossed, and I'm going to go back to stress knitting because I want to see if this works out or not. I'm still going to wear it, but yeah, I just really hope it won't be that cropped, because it will be much more wearable if it's not like super cropped. But I have no idea. I find it so hard to measure yarn. The last several projects I've had, I haven't had enough yarn to do any of them because I keep messing up how much yarn I should have. But yeah, I'm just going to knit and see how this goes. Hi! I am so happy to finally be back here to tell you that my square neck camisole is finally finished. I have made some shortcuts when it came to finishing this. I have weaved in all the ends, which I'm really proud of because I usually struggle with that, but I've done that. But I have decided against washing and blocking for the time being because I really wanted to start wearing it. I couldn't wait to wash it and block it and dry it. I just wanted to start wearing it. But I do hope that I can do some blocking soon because I really hope to be able to gain a little bit of extra length once I block it, but I'm also a bit scared that with blocking that the ribbing is going to expand even more because I'm really happy with the fit right now. I just wish I would get a tiny bit more length because when I like move around you can see that it is quite cropped, but when I'm just standing around it does hit where my pants end, so I'm happy with the length I was able to get even though I was playing yarn chicken for most of the body of this camisole. It really turned out as well as it could have, and I was able to finish with a like good enough length for me using just the 2 skeins I already had in my stash. So I'm really glad that I was able to knit this with yarn purely from my stash and that I didn't have to get more yarn like mid-project. But yeah, this is the square neck camisole. It took me exactly 100 grams of yarn. I think I had like this much left when I was finished casting off. And I knit mine in a size medium, so you can do every size up to a medium with side decreases with 2 skeins if you're willing to have the camisole be a little bit cropped. So that is a way to budget it if you want to. I also used knitting for olive merino, so that does run a bit longer than most other types of merinos. I know Drops Baby Merino only runs 125 meters, so you would have to get more than 2 skeins of that. So that's something to keep in mind, but with the skein that is 250 meters, you only need 2 if you're willing to do it a little bit cropped. But yeah, here it is. I love the details of it. I really hoped I would love this because I've had a couple of issues with summer knits before where I have loved the look of them, have loved knitting them up, but once they're done, I don't love wearing them that much. I don't love them on me, but with this one, I loved the look of it. I love the process, and I also love wearing it myself. So I'm so glad I finally found a summer knit that checks all 3 boxes, and I think most of it is because of this lovely square neck. I am a sucker for square necks, so I definitely don't think this is going to be the last one I make. The double knitting was a bit tedious, so I'm not going to jump straight into a new one right now, but I would say now after the fact, when it's done and I'm able to wear it, the double knitting was very much worth it, and I would highly recommend this top to anyone else in the market for a summer top. I think it looks really nice, and the pattern is also written very well. I love following Garnogslikt's patterns. I think she writes very well, and I think I've made 3 of her patterns now. And I've loved all of them, knitting them, wearing them, everything about them. So I highly recommend her. So this is definitely my favorite detail, that it is a square neck, and also that the straps are quite broad. I really like that. I think a lot of summer camisoles have really flimsy straps. I really like that this looks a lot more sturdy. And then I also really enjoy this detail here. This is optional to do decreases down the body here, but I love the way that looks, and I was just able to have enough yarn to finish all of the decreases. So I got back to 3x3 ribbing down here. It worked out, but I only had like 1 row left of yarn when I finished, so I did the last row of decreases and then I moved straight into casting off. I also learned a new way of casting off while doing this, a stretchy bind off, so that was fun. I love when a project teaches me new things. But that is everything about the square neck camisole. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. That means the absolute world to me. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Bye!